is Brenda Nyawara. Today I want to bring awareness to a trend on Twitter where guys were giving their stories on when and where someone first took physical advantage of them. I'm trying to avoid using the R word, but that's exactly what it's about. My heart goes out to each and every one of you. I pray for healing and justice to everyone who had to go through this. I've blurred out their names for the sake of privacy, but if you want to see the tweets, they are still on Twitter. You can go and check them out under the hashtag #IWAS. Okay, so let me just highlight a few, and I hope that you who is watching will also know how serious this matter is and that society will change in some way. I hope this hashtag actually brings a change somewhere. A says, I was 5 at my neighbor's house cause mom wasn't around. She was told to babysit me. M says, I was 5 at my church. I was 10 until the age I can't remember at my house. I was 16 at my friend's boyfriend's house. I was 16 in a trap house. I was 26 at a club. I was 28 in a barracks room, and now I'm 29 and numb. A says I was 8 at my aunt's house. I was 10 at my grandma's house. I was 11 at my dad's house. C says I was 13 and they followed me to the toilet. R says I was 6 or 7 at my mom's house, I was 9 at my grandma's house, and I was 19 in my own bed. And she goes on to say the first two were family. M says I was 5, he was my friend's gardener. N says I was 12, 13, 15 and have never dealt with the trauma, kinda just pretended it never happened. A says I was 22. I thought she was a friend, but she dished me to her brother to do as he pleased to me. M says I was a baby, 10. It was my dad and his friends. I was about 4 to 8 years old. It was my grandmother's 80-year-old client. I was 10. It was a dude in a toy store. I was 16. It was the captain of the football team. I'm numb. M says I was 13. Sleeping at home on a Sunday night with my mother when they broke in and took me. D says I was 9 and he was a so-called man of God, can never be forgotten. B says I was 12, 13, 15, 1 cousin, 2 family friends. V says I was 16. I asked for help, he said nothing comes for free. I says I was 12 and I still can't speak about it. Like, I'm just, wow. Purple emoji says I was 18, I was abroad alone. J says I was 18, it was on New Year's Eve after party. They put pills into my drink. I felt his weight on me, but I couldn't move a finger. My tears started to drop along my cheeks. I tried to talk about it, but no one believed me. M says I was 22, he was my co-worker. S says I was 6, I was in my house, he was supposed to teach me and leave. M says my sister was 13, she was in a taxi. T says I was 17, it was at a sports event. Damn, every time I brought it up, I was told I put myself in that situation. F says I was 5 years old and it didn't stop until I was 9. It was my stepdad. I says my mother was 8. It was her uncle. Yo, man. I would hate for that to happen to my mother. T says I was 6 to 10, 11 to 13 by family. D says I was 14. Cousin. I just told my mom last night after 9 years. Like, guys really go through so much. Oh my god. R says I was 5 and it was my cousin. P says I was 9 in boarding school. O says wow, it was a neighbor. I was 6, he was 15. Y says 12, older brother. I can't even imagine. I have brothers and they protect me like hell. I cannot even imagine this. S says I was 22, it was our first date. U says I was 5 and 16, he gave me HIV. R says I was 8. This is my first time sharing. P says I was 22. I thought we were just gonna talk and get to know each other. F says I was 8. I never told anyone out of fear and shame, and 7 years later he went on to abuse his daughter and get convicted. I blame myself for what happened to her. B says I was 19 at a trusted friend's house. M says I was 9 and she was 23. Men get abused too. It's true, it's not just women. Men get abused too. K says 6 to 11. I thought it was normal for it to happen. M says I was 10 and this is the first time that I actually felt the need to express it. I buried it in the back of my head years ago. A says I was 19 in my dorm and 22 in his car. K says I was 12. I was told that because he was my boyfriend, I had to. C says I was 5. I thought it was bath time. She thought it was bath time. This really broke my heart just watching guys give their stories. I could not even imagine the guys who are sharing for the first time. A lot of guys were sharing for the first time under this hashtag. And what surprised me is that these are things that are still happening. We might be out there trying to fight for, other things. But right in the homes, your child is going through something that you would never even imagine happens to them. I just hope that the guys who went through this, I hope you find healing. I hope you find comfort. I hope you find some sort of way through this. And I'm just praying for you. That's it. And for parents out there, there's so many people who are mentioning 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds. That's just heartbreaking. I just hope that you get to spend enough time with your kids to let them know that they are loved and to let them be able to open up to you and tell you what's going on in their lives. At least that will take care of a bit of the ages that I've seen right here. Yeah, that's very heartbreaking. Anyway, I'll see you in my next video.